Hey guys! So we're gonna do a slightly different video, and I say that in the sense of I'm going to try to tackle something I've always admired people doing, but I myself could never end up doing. And what that being is a bullet journal. So essentially, bullet journals are customized journals made by people for their very specific purposes. They're very artistic, very loose, very freeing, very creative. And to me, they're very overwhelming, which is really funny when I myself am a creative and I sit there and I'm like, that is way too much maintenance. I will never keep up with it. Which is kind of why I'm doing it now, I guess. Well, I'm doing like the baby version of it, right? Because I'm not looking to overwhelm myself. And I think that's the problem is I sometimes look at things and I'm like, that's a really big project. I don't really know if I can handle that. And then I just never do it. But I have some of these little like supplies. I have a very skinny little moleskin, nothing fancy, nothing crazy. Like it's been in my closet for years, kind of thing. I have these Tombow twin pastels I've never used. I got for a holiday present one time. They're super pastel, super cute. I also have these stickers. Like I just pulled some stickers out of my drawer. I have hundreds of stickers I never use. But yeah, so I made like basically a little swatch sheet out of the Tombows because I just want to kind of see what the colors are, mess with like the different line widths of the two sides of the marker, and kind of get a feel for them. Also, I'm just going to apologize now for the fact that a lot of this footage is recorded in like a portrait format from my phone, not a landscape for what is more optimal for a YouTube video, but we're learning, we're trying. At least I'm doing something. That's kind of how I'm looking at this. Is it will not be perfect, and that's okay. And that's something I'm trying to do in this little journey I'm having with myself as an artist and just trying different things and kind of being expressive in different ways. And I'm just simply recording that for myself to just kind of like use as like a journal of like my progress, but also just kind of, I'm gonna be real, doing it in a way that's not perfect without super thought behind it and just trying to just do something that feels loose and freeing because oftentimes I feel this pressure to perform a certain way and to be a certain level of aesthetics, and it doesn't always work out that way. I don't have a lot of time right now to commit to this craft I want to like grow, and sometimes it makes me freeze up, and I want to be able to like still do things even if they aren't perfect and they're not like 100% aesthetically pleasing, and be okay with that. Like just be honest with myself that I don't have the capacity to do that, but I do have the capacity to at least try something and do something new, like doing a bullet journal. Also, as I know, I just want to talk about how these colors are super cute, but I will say like these next like three, like these pinks kind of feel similar to like this pink looks kind of similar to the yellows and stuff. It's a little weird when I was doing this. Maybe it was the lighting I was working with, but they kind of seemed really similar, which is weird because it didn't feel like their containers were that similar. But you see how like the last two on the bottom page there look kind of like almost samey. Not that that's super important, right? I really like these. I think it's funny that it feels like there's not like really a range for like certain other aspects of it, but they are meant to be pastel, so I'm not gonna argue with that. They're so cute. I'm still gonna use this for this because, like I said, I wanted to like I limited the supplies I had to use because I thought limiting it and kind of minimizing it would help me tackle it better. Like I'm literally just planning June, July, and August colors out because like I'm just gonna sit here and just pick out like 2 to 3. I think I did 4 for August because I couldn't really figure out what I wanted to do, so I need to like see them next to each other. So like I'm throwing like pinks and like oranges and yellows because like you know there's like summer colors, right? I'm working with the limited colors I have. I will say I don't think I'm a super fan of the fine tip edge. I think it's a little too skinny for something I would prefer, so I definitely prefer the thicker edge of the marker. But yeah, now here comes in like me being like, oh, I'll do this purple because I was trying to like have one color go into the next month kind of deal, like flow into each other. And I was like, oh, but I really want to do blue because that's my birthday month and I would like to have my favorite color in it, and I kind of was like, oh, I don't really like these two colors together, and I'm like fuddling about for a second to figure out what one I want to use. Like, I look at the peach one, and I'm like, I don't know about that one with the purple. So it's just like, I'm just kind of messing around with things, which I think is fine. I think the lilac looks pretty good with the orange or even the purple would work well. Now you can see here I had planned out the first page for June. I have the title, I have all the dates, I kind of counted how many lines I was probably going to need for the different date squares, and I have what is a 5 goals on the bottom there, and now I'm just going to go in and replicate it real fast, which I'm going to speed up because I only did like go through my real-time progress of writing the word June and doing some doodles. There's nothing crazy on this page. I just kind of did a general like inspo of what I have seen from like bullet journal images I like on like Pinterest and stuff like that. Nothing crazy, right? Okay, next thing we're gonna talk about is the second half of the page because it's a little bit more relevant to like me specifically, and these are what I labeled as my 5 goals. These are 5 goals just for the month, and I try to make them kind of generic, and I say generic not in the sense of like, oh, go to the gym, eat healthy, blah 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 blah. No, like this journal is going to be very much geared specifically towards me as a creative, me as an artist. It isn't other goals I have in my daily life, because right now what I really want to work on is pushing myself to do more with my skill, to do more with that ability, and to make it more substantial to me as a person, because I want that to be more of a focus in my life, because it really is starting to get lost in how busy I am, and I just don't want to lose that. So I'm trying to push myself to find time to do those things, and one of those things is making these goals I will have for the month, because we're so early in June, right? We can make these work. So the first one I have is I want to do weekly videos, and that is simply just here or TikTok or wherever. And then I have monthly shop updates because I want to be able to update my shop more often. I feel like I've lost that consistency. I used to be really consistent. I used to do weekly ones and I just lost it, right? Third thing is my SD pages, which this is referring to my webcomic that I'm trying to finish the next chapter of because I let that go this past year. I want to do larger merch ideas. I want to start making other things besides the sticker books, expand myself from outside my stickers. And lastly, I want to do daily or weekly, like, I want to say goals. I wrote goals just to be generic. I go more into it into the second page, but this is my first page with the little cinnamon roll stickers. I think it looks kind of cute. It's very simple, right? But yeah, so then I go into the next page, which is going to be more focused on those goals I had in mind by performing what I labeled as check-ins. And when I refer to check-ins, they're kind of like almost mimicking the daily like markers that you would see in some other bullet journals where they would, oh, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I went to the gym this day, I drank this much water, I hit these certain goals, I drew this many pages, etc., etc., etc. But my goal here with this bullet journal is to set myself up for success. And the best way I can do that is to not be overly specific with myself and where I want to be and how often I do it, because my schedule is very hectic. It is very busy and it's very tiring right now. And I'm slowly getting more time with the summer coming up, but at the same time, I still want to be kind to myself because I'm very hard on myself at all times. Like, I am the typical, I will beat myself down before anyone else does, so I can avoid that feeling of letting others down, right? So that's where these check-ins will come in. And all they are is going to be taking those goals I had, especially from number 5 about those daily, weekly goals. And I kind of broke it down to, I think, like 5 different ideas. And the first one was going to be anatomy practice, because I love doing anatomy practicings and sketches and stills, and I haven't done it in such a long time. And I kind of need to go back to that because I feel like I need more practice with it, ironically. So that was my first one. I thought that would be a good one just overall because it would hit all beats of the other goals. Second thing is the SD pages, because I really, really, really want to be able to add more content to my webcomic, and I'm in the third chapter, which is something I never thought I would be doing, and I just want to keep working at that, so I made a check-in for those. And then number 3 is going to be my shop. Obviously, because that's another thing, I want to be able to update my shop more often, so I made a form for that. Because right now I want that to be more of like a commonality, because it's kind of fallen by the wayside, and we don't like that. And with that in mind, I also want to talk about shipping, because I'll be real, your girl has really let shipping kind of fall by the wayside, and I often have to make sure I'm not late or overdue on shipping things, and I'm so sorry to people who've been buying my products, because I just get so hectic in the schedule and I forget what days to go check. And lastly is work on my website. So I used to have a Square page years ago, and I just let it go by the wayside and stopped paying for it. But now that I'm kind of trying to get back into like making a more unified like look for myself as an artist, I gotta get back to it. I gotta get all my resources together and put this together, and I want to take advantage of their latest like shopping element to it as another place. I'm always considering doing a Shopify page instead of using Etsy, kind of take a step back from them, because I agree with so many people that the gosh darn like micro transactions they're pulling out of you for like they're nickel and diming you for everything, and it's getting worse, and I'm just losing so much money from it, and I really need to take myself seriously when it comes to my store and put it on the proper platform. But yeah, as you're seeing here, I'm throwing in these little boxes, which I could have planned out a little bit better. You can see I kind of missed a section because I was doing it based on the dotted grid, and it just, that one little box is going to fit there. I'll probably go back and like make a little smaller one just to wedge it in there, because that really bothers me. Or just like planning out the dots better next time. But like I said, I'm just kind of doing this just to do it. It's not going to be perfect. It's not going to be the most aesthetically pleasing bullet journal ever there. But like, I shouldn't have put the cinnamon roll stickers down before I did the boxes, but it's fine. And I use like the colors of each of the different check-ins to kind of divide up those squares, so I just know in the future where they need to be. Because you can see I'm like kind of like, wait, where does it need to go? Because I didn't space them out evenly or give the same amount of squares, because I think some things need more squares and some things don't need as much. Like shipping doesn't need as much in this month, but like anatomy practice and comic pages need more spaces. Same with like the website, right? But like I said, and I didn't really have a plan for the bottom of this. So here's the second page. It's very simple, many cinnamon rolls per usual. But yeah, like I said, this is not meant to be anything crazy. It is just me trying to get myself in the mindset of being kind, but also keeping myself accountable with these goals. And hopefully you took a little bit of inspiration from this just as much as I do from other people's work. So I'll see you next time. Bye!